guys, and I'm really excited because I'm going to be trying to be back posting probably maybe every week. I don't know, maybe even more, because I did get a new iPad so then I can record more. Happy. I'm going to be telling you guys the ultimate one-line string care guide today, and I might not post that much for the past maybe for the past week or two, because I want to spend more time with my family around Christmas and New Year's, so yeah. And this is the Worm on a String Ultimate Care Guide, because as you see, I did get quite a lot of worms for Christmas. I'm really happy. Yeah. So I'm gonna be trying to do this in like a chronological order. Like if you first got your worm, like what becomes important, and yeah, you'll know. So first you wanna know, oh, where do we get these little guys? Well, this might be just a video of information about them, but it's also a care guide. So they come in quite a lot of colours, like blue, green, dark green, white, black. White and black are the rarer colours. Red, I think they do have a dark red. Pink, hot pink, purple, a bluier blue, yellow, and orange. I think they do have a turquoise colour, but I just call that blue. And they also do have these like multicoloured worms, and I especially like this one. You can buy these guys off of Amazon, or maybe in like joke shops and stuff. You might find them in like, if you get like a kit of like magic tricks or jokes and gags or something like that. I found some in Boyce's once, which is a shop in the UK if you're American and you don't understand. So, yeah. The rarer colours are black and white, and I'm really happy to actually get these guys, because I've never gotten these colours before, and I'm really happy about it. So I bought these guys off of Amazon, and it's alright to pick them up like this, it doesn't hurt the worms. So I got them off of Amazon. I got these off of Amazon, but you can get them at some other places. There's a chance you can even find them at Claire's. Yeah, loads of different places. There's a rare chance, but I think it's possible that I could find them in those little like ball machines that you put a pound in, which is I think a quarter is like a pound in American. I don't know. Yeah, but I think you could find them in like those machines. I think they're called gacha machines. I don't know. But you know, the little ball machines where you put money in and the ball comes out. Yeah, I think you could maybe find them in those, but not most likely. Yeah. So once you get your worm, let's say you get your worm. So I'm going to tell you the different conditions that you can get worms in. So I got mine from Amazon, and if you get them from Amazon, most of them will come in little packets. And if you open the packets, they don't look like good quality worms at all once you open the packet. They look all flat and horrible, but all you have to do is leave them somewhere. And I just left them in a drawer for a few hours, and they ended up fluffing up and being much better. So don't worry if they look all flat and weird once you get them, because it honestly is fine. If you get them from a shop, it's most likely to have a container that says Squirmals or Wiggly Worm or something. It will be about like this by this, and it might have like a little circle or square in the middle that's clear, and it can show the colour of worm that you're gonna get. Now, I don't really think you can get black and white worms in those packets. The originals were called Squirmals, but then other brands started using that design because I think they stopped selling them for a while, so then other companies started to, I don't know much about the history, but yeah. I got a sharp pain. So once you get your worm, I'm just gonna pick someone to demonstrate. Spark. So Spark is gonna be my demonstration. So you get your worm, you're quite happy about it. Let's just pretend Spark's in a package here. Wait, let's just pretend my phone is the package, because that's the size it would be. So just pretend my phone's the package. Oh yeah, I'm super happy about the worm. So what you want to do when you're opening up the package is, the string might not be attached, but on most of them they are. So you peel like the thing off. I'm pretty sure you know how to open a package already. And then you see the worm. The worm may seem a bit like stiff and weird. It's probably just because it's been in that position for a couple of weeks maybe. But all you really have to do is just do some of this, and it will get there. It will get there for nice and fluffed up. So yeah. So you get your worm, you open it, and oh no, the string isn't on the worm. Now that don't really happen if you get them off Amazon, but we're just pretending this scenario, you get them in a packet. I will do other scenarios too. I'm sorry if this video is too long, but it's just showing you lots of information about them. So you get it out of the packet. Oh no, the card and the string isn't attached. So you're going to want to get a bit of string off of that. There's two little slits here. So you basically just, if you like, so when you have the string on, you just wrap it around, and then at the end, you try and put the string in those two little slits. So what you're going to want to do is, if you're bad at knotting things, then I don't know, you might want to ask someone to help you. But I don't really want to demonstrate with this guy. I'll demonstrate with my hairs maybe. You can't see it, but like, so, oh yeah, you can. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your string, and you're going to want to kind of make quite a big knot in it, because worms do have pretty long strings, so you don't need to worry about the string being smaller. So once you tied the knot in it, just make sure it looks pretty good. Don't pull it yet. You're going to want to make it big enough to be able to just put it on the worm's nose, like put the worm's nose in the little like circle, and then you're going to want to tighten it. Double knotting is a choice. It's not necessary, but it just like helps to make the string go on stronger. And just like, yeah. So you got your string tied on. I'm not going to do the different scenarios actually. Once you've got the string tied on, I'm going to tell you how to use the card. I call it a worm tag actually. It's an option, you can write the worm's name on it or whatever. So, if you go a little close up, you can see those little slits here. Now once you've got the string tied on, or if the string was already tied on, you might see that the worm string is like stuck in those little slits. What you kind of want to do is just do that, and you can get different shapes. You can get like, the ones I already know about is you can get an apple shaped worm tag, an oval, or just a square, like a tiny little square. They all work the same practically. So it's either, what I like to do is I wrap it around, and then once it gets like about this close to the nose, start like putting it in the slits. So now you're wondering, alright, once I've got the worm string in a good condition, what do I do with it? Now, this now comes for a bit of teaching about tricks. They're quite actually easy to use because they're not like marionette puppets where you have to like know about what different strings move what different parts. It's not like that, it's basically just a string that will move the worm. But in some cases you may not know. Oh my god, look how much light that's creating. Oh my. So my stomach hurts. So it's actually quite easy to use. What you've got to do is just move the string where you want the worm to go. I mean the tag, not the string. If it doesn't have a tag, that's okay. Just make sure if your worm has lost its tag or doesn't have a tag, you can always make one out of card or anything, because it's really easy. All you need to do is get a piece of card and then put 2 slits in it, one on top, one on bottom, and there you go, you've got a worm tag. But yeah, but if you don't have any card to make one, it's okay, just make sure you don't come in contact with any other worms that have their strings unraveled. So yeah, you're wondering, how do I make my worm do tricks that are cool? Just keep moving the worm tag where you want your worm to go. It's kind of as if the worm tag is what the worm really wants, like it's food. So just basically move it around where you want it to go. Like if I want my worm to go on my shoulder, I'll move the worm tag to my shoulder. If I want the worm to go on my head, I'll move the worm tag to my head. It's pretty simple. I will do a whole video on worm tricks eventually. And what I like to do with worms is I like to pretend they're my pet, because I do have fish, but like I had a dog. Yeah, but like I like to pretend they're pets, and I think other people might like to too, because they're actually pretty cute, and they work pretty well as pets if someone doesn't really have a pet that they can hold and play around with. And giving them names is just a lot better. Like Spark here. Sorry. So here's on the questions of how to actually take care of the worm. Now one of the main things is how should I pick up my worm. Now picking up your worm is actually quite an important thing to know how to do. Now if you want to pick up your worm, I don't recommend picking it up by the tag, because if someone else has a worm and they're doing the same thing and they end up clashing into each other and tangling, it's pretty hard to fix. Yeah. So don't pick it up too hard. Like you don't need to grab onto it like it's your life support, like, if you know what I mean. Like it's not like it's going to magically slip out your hands somehow like this. What you really need to do to pick them up is you can just pick them up by a little hair like that, and it actually gives a really nice illusion if you do that. Like in tricks, if you accidentally drop your worm's tag and your worm goes crashing down, then picking it up by like here is really good, because you can make its head move while picking it up. So yeah, but you just don't really need to pick it up like this. Yeah. And then there's just your general worm care. Where should you keep your worms in? What should you do with your worms? So now I actually really recommend having a certain place where you keep your worms, like a certain drawer or a bag or something, a shoebox. Just to make sure you know where all your worms are supposed to be. Like you can just put them all in one spot. I like to put them in drawers and stuff. But yeah. One thing is, if you have birds, dogs, there's a little thing, cats, you know, those kinds of pets that might be able to go into your room and ruin stuff. Especially cats, because they actually advertise these as cat toys, but they were actually originally created to be normal people toys. Yeah. So you're going to want to keep them away from cats, dogs, birds, for all I know. And for all I know, cats and dogs can't open drawers. So you're going to want to put them in a drawer maybe, or something like that. Next, there's how do you keep your worm clean. Now I have a pretty good method for it. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get some soapy water and put it in a spray bottle. And you might be wondering, why a spray bottle though? Because can't you just put your worm in some soapy water? I know putting your worm in hot soapy water may make it look like the worm is actually getting cleaner, and it may look like it's being more effective. But the bad thing about putting them in water is that it will potentially ruin their fur. Because you see his fur over here? If you put it in water, it will look all soggy, right? When it eventually dries, it's going to look like 10 times thinner than this. and it could possibly ruin the fur and make the fur start to shed. So what I recommend doing is putting soapy water, you can use warm, I don't know, soapy water in a spray bottle and spraying it on the worm quite a bit. Just don't make it so the worm's completely wet or damp, because I don't really think that is the best thing for a worm. So yeah, if you're doing it just because you want your worm to smell a bit better, I need to drink. Nah. If you just want your worm to smell better, just spray some perfume or something on it. If you don't have perfume, then spray a bottle soap. Yeah. Just whatever you do, don't put them in water. Then there's, what should I feed my worm? Now, worms have different favourite foods actually. Oh wait, do you like my socks? They're like cat paws. I just need to stand up for a second. Isn't it annoying when you're wearing a onesie and then the leg goes like halfway up your knee? There. Worms have many different favourite foods, and I did some studies, and it's most likely different worm colours that like different worm foods. Now, worms, you can just feed them bits of your food, scraps and stuff. Now, I fed Toxin a bit of my Christmas dinner yesterday, and he's fine. Yeah. I'm going to take this off. It's choking me. So you can feed your worms scraps of your food. Really anything. Yeah? Okay.
Get it then.
Sorry about that. But worms can eat bits of your food. They can actually just eat all. They can actually eat all of your food. It's not bad for them, like. Yeah. If you want to go, like, all out, then you can maybe put some, like, oats or something. Because oats is, like, equal to dog food for worms. Like, if a dog is eating dog food, it's basically just like a worm eating some porridge oats. Just like plain porridge oats, it's alright. That is what they'll eat. Then we're going to be talking about hydration. Now there's two different types of hydration for worms. Hydration in fur and hydration in body. Now, you don't really need to keep the fur hydrated. It's string. The heck? There. But yeah, I think it's healthy just keeping the worm's fluff just a bit damp, maybe like one spray from here, like just like that, once a week would be fine. And they don't need that much hydration, because out of most of the foods I like to eat, they get enough hydration from that. Yeah, my lips are dry. Or you can get like a bottle cap and put some water in it. Just put a bottle cap, 2 bottle caps next to each other, put porridge oats in one, put water in another. That's a good meal for worms. So that's all about feeding. Now we're going to talk about caring for the fur. Now the fur on a worm is really important because it keeps the worm warm. Because especially some people are going to be getting worms for Christmas in winter, and some people aren't going to be knowing how to take care of them. So if they don't learn about the worm's fur, they could probably get really ill and harmed, because their fur is the thing that keeps them warm in winter. Now, if you buy some worms off of Amazon, I think they're actually the best types of worms you can get, because I don't know why, but most of the worms off of Amazon that I ever got never started to unravel. So that's nice. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah. I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, fur. So your worm might start, like, if you get it from certain places, I'm not gonna say. Usually worms bought at a store, like a shop in real life, they always start to unravel pretty quickly. And what I call unraveling is that, because worms have one big white string in there, I don't think it's actually one, it's like maybe a few, and they're swirled together. It looks a tiny bit like DNA, just without the little things. You might be able to see that if you get a worm. Like, can you see on his tail those little white bits? That's the core of the worm, I like to call it. And sometimes if you twirl your worm's tail this way or this way, I don't really know, I don't want to risk it, it will start to look like the white bits start getting bigger. That's when you want to stop doing that, otherwise your worm's going to start unraveling. If your worm randomly starts shedding fur, now let's say you've been playing with your worm for a bit in your room, and you start seeing bits of orange and black, like, let's say I'm playing with Spark in my room a little bit right now, and then I start to see a bit of orange and black fur. What you're going to want to do is you just want to pick that up, clean it up, put it in the bin, whatever, and then try and spot the place where the fur is coming from, and then just try to fix it. Yeah, but that is a sign of your worm starting to unravel. Yeah. So what will happen to a worm if you put it in water? Like, how will it potentially ruin the worm? So your worm will potentially be ruined if your worm will potentially be ruined if you put it in water, because if you put it in water, the water can start getting heavy, and also you know that water moves. If, like, let's say you jump in a puddle and it moves. So if you dip a worm in water, it might move. But also, when you put a worm in water, water always finds its way through gravity to get out of the worm, right? So the water's going to start rushing to the bottom or the top, depending on how you're moving it. And also your worm can unravel from the nose. Yeah. So let's say you're holding your worm like this. All the water starts rushing towards there, making the worm start twirling and making it start to unravel. And also, if that doesn't happen, it can probably just ruin the worm's fur and make it paper thin. I need an Oreo break. Oreo break. Back, you want some? Want some? No. See, look, this is an example of worms being able to eat bits of your food. Although sweet things like biscuits and sweets aren't the best thing for worms, like, worms can still eat them. Then we've got quality time with your worm. Now, every worm that you have deserves to get a tiny bit of attention from you per day. You should be every single worm should be getting a bit of fresh air every day. But if it's winter, then you can just open the window and put them by the windowsill. Just don't make sure like there's a storm. If there's a storm, you can keep them in. But that's just like a healthy lifestyle for your worm. If you don't give your worm the quality time that it needs with you, then your worm might stop liking you and just start being a bit rude with you, let's say, because they might start biting you and stuff. So, yeah. But on my channel, I'm going to have a group of main worms that I'm going to post about. Because in my opinion, those worms are just the prettiest and most eye-catching worms that I have. Oreo break. So basically, yeah, the worm might stop liking you if you don't give that much quality time. Now you can give your worms compliments. It's not as if they'll really understand you, but in worm logic, they might be able to start picking out like certain words that they think are important. Like Amethyst already knows the word pretty, I think, because if I say like, because I like to speak to my worms a bit. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. She will immediately start wrapping herself around me. I think that's like a sign of love or something. I can't really get my head around that. So, like, if a worm starts wrapping itself around you, it doesn't matter if it's your head, your neck, your arm, your shoulder, your leg, your foot, your toe, whatever. It means that the worm likes you or loves you. I don't know. But yeah, you've got to give your worms affection. Otherwise, if you want affection from your worms, you have to give them affection. So that's practically most of the questions. Most of the things. That's like most of, like, you know, that's most of the facts about worms that I have for today. Another Oreo break. It's not done yet though. Yeah. I'm going to introduce you to all my worms. And, oh yeah, by the way, if you pick up all your worms like this, people might think, oh, it's hurting the worms because they're all squished together. No, it doesn't. Now, for the worms, it actually just feels like someone's just, let's pretend that I'm doing it to you. That's basically what it only would feel like. It wouldn't hurt for them because there's so many other worms near them that they just feel so comfortable. Like that. So I'm going to show you all of them and tell their personality. And this is a little treat for you if you made it to the end. So here's Toxic. He's a nice worm, you just really need to get to know him. He don't really trust that many people. He's a good worm though. Berry is quite a mean worm, to be honest. She always likes to, you know, mess around with the other worms and kind of annoy them. Pacific. Lemon. Looks like it's glowing. Nicholas. And Blossom. Blossom is the pink one, Nicholas is the red one. Spicy. I'm not really introducing them to you. Sorry. Amethyst. Angel. Void. Maurice. Bubblegum. Carrot Cake. Forest. Spark. Galaxy. And Lime. Yep, so that's all for today. Bye.